Hey everyone, this is the Metroidvania Guru. This is my first time ever doing something like this, and what I'll be doing is talking to an actual developer of a Metroidvania, which is really, really cool. So today with me I have Stefano. I'll let him introduce himself and what game that he is responsible for. So Stefano, how are you?
Hello, my man. Super fine. Thanks for having me and talking about this mess together.
This mess, huh? Yeah. There was a huge mix up trying to get this started with the audio, and good old Stefano here was a really great cheerleader and got us going. So I really appreciate your flexibility and your patience, Stefano. I really do.
No problem, my man. I had fun. I sang a lot to do tests, so I like doing that shit, so it's cool.
Yeah, you told me that you were in a band. That's kind of cool. Tell me more about that.
I was in a band 17 years ago. I played for 10 years in this punk rock band called Diosfera Corporation. We were the only punk rockers in Sicily, and everybody was laughing at us because we were weird. And after 17 years, now we will come back together this summers and we will have another gig, and I'm so excited about it. I'm too old. I don't know if I can do it anymore.
Well, I mean, there's only one way to find out, and it's. I'm glad you said that you were from Sicily because it sounded like you have a bit of an accent. I got my Ohio hat on. I'm from America, but seems you're from across the pond.
Yeah, it's true. I'm from the other part of the world, actually. And every time I talk people that I'm from Sicily, everybody's like, "Oh, mafia!" It's like, "Oh, they just knew this about Sicily because of the movie, man. It's because of the movie." Say
So I don't think we talked about what you're the dev of. So let us know what that is.
it again. Sorry.
Um, what game do you work on, man?
Oh, our game name of our game is Cookie Cutter, and I am the director and artist. And back at time, the game was released on December of 2023, and we were 14 people in the team. But right now it's just me, the programmer, and the audio guy. Sometimes the writer goes around and we were talking a little bit because when you are an indie studio, you cannot afford having a team constantly. You know, you start the project, you finish the project, and you dismiss the team until you start again.
Mm, gotcha. So, being you said you were the artist, right? Are you the one who pretty much you say you're the director too? So you probably made Cherry, yeah? Is that your baby?
Yeah. It's a discarded project from Unity because I'm an artist at Unity in Brighton. And back at time, we had to come out with this character, a remake of an old project. And I did some sketches, and in those sketches there were Cherry, and I fell in love immediately with the character. And everybody were hating it. Like my the director back at time was like, "Yeah, cool. What next one? Like this one? I don't care about this one." But I don't know, from that moment I started, something pops up and I started animator for no reason at all. I started making all of the animation and build it in Unity and find someone inside the company helping me with the code because I zero at code. I have no idea. That for me is black magic. I have no idea at all how those things work. But yeah, that was the beginning of everything. When I created the character, I already knew the world I want her into. And I can say that I'm the seed of the idea. But later, when I got the team, everybody was allowed to start from the idea, from the core of the idea, from the seed, and moving in different directions. So each one of us put actually something in the project.
Cool. What was your inspiration for Cherry? She's got a very unique design, right? I mean, that's the word I'd use.
Back at time when I was a punk rocker, I used to play a lot of gigs all around Italy. And when you play in gigs on squat, because we were punk rockers, we were just playing in squat. There were the skinhead girls, and one thing is that is mistaken nowadays is that everybody thinks that skinhead are are Nazist, but actually skinhead is a movement that it comes from anarchy, from communism, from things. So there was these skinhead girls coming at our concert, and they were beautiful and they were fucking dangerous and they were rude and you cannot with them, you know. They get really really aggressive and they kick your ass out. And I was so curious about how cool they were that when I dress my character or I imagine her, I imagine with the Chelsea cut, that is the cut the skinhead girls used to have, and even some sort of skinhead dress, but later become like fast food employee uniform, something like that, you know? So that is the core of the idea for the character, but the personality of the characters comes from a lot of different media. I used to read a lot of comic. I still read a lot of comic book, and when I was a kid, I was reading Tank Girl and or Transmetropolitan, all of those American wave or even British wave back at time with really strong pissed off character. They don't care about nothing. So I got already an idea. I wanted a character that was like a bully, was not the perfect, cool, and clear main hero that I consume a lot of media with the main hero that is like a ray of light coming into this world too, and that's amazing, really cool. But I wanted to go from another, you know, I want to try another approach, let's say.
So you wanted someone a little rougher around the edges.
Yeah, and it's even more interesting to write because we did the game and we experiment a lot with writing. We're not writers, but well, the writer of the game is a writer. But when we come out with the idea, we're not experts, you know. We don't have the team of Rick and Morty able to have amazing writer, able to write characters that are rude but deep. By the way, for us to exploring this street was more interesting, you know. So let's say let's do this weird thing. Let's see where we can push this character, how much we can make it real, how much we can make it not likable, because I really don't care to be liked by everyone, but we wanted to make people engage with the character. So we tried all of the writing magic tricks to make this happen, and we studying it in the meanwhile, and we learned from it in the meantime. So it was really, really interesting to explore that, you know?
So did you said that you started it in the mean way? Is that what you said?
Not in the mean way, but in a complex way. We got this character that are really cartoonish, but deep down we wanted a story that was really, you know, visceral. A story full of emotion, a story full of character that got something, a purpose to chase. And so that was pretty much the way that we were trying to place things around, because again the game is pretty cartoonish, but what is happening to our character, it's pretty mature. So we would like to play with those ingredients, mixing two things that are really distant: cartoon that looks like pretty clean with a really mature story that we can try to push some weird knobs here and there to make something mature, grotesque. We wanted to make it grotesque.
Yeah, well, you nailed it. So, and it's interesting because like a couple of games came out around the same time. So you got Cookie Cutter, and I think Leica H Through Blood came out. Have you played that?
No, but I saw the video. It's one of that cool cyborg. It's like isometric.
So Leica is your little like coyote warrior on a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
And so your game and that game came out, and they're completely two different games, but they both start with like the most brutal opening I've seen in a video game in a while, right? Cookie Cutter starts out with Cherry and Shinji just getting separated by Salem, right? And it's just absolutely brutal, absolutely bloody, disgusting stuff, man. Grotesque is the word you used, and I think it nailed it. And then Leica, it has a child crucified by its own guts. Yeah, dude, I'm not joking. And so it's like to see both of these games come out where it's like wow, these are some freaking brutal openings, right? Like Leica's is like very meditative and yours is very visceral. And I think saying Cookie Cutter is very visceral, I think is a very appropriate way, especially when you take a look at a lot of Cherry's finishers. Tell me about these finishers, man. I love these finishers. There's one where she throws like a screwdriver in someone's face.
That's all fault of the things that I read when I was a kid and of Battletoads. When I was a kid, I played a lot of Battletoads for Nintendo with my friend Gaetano. And it was impossible. We spent the entire childhood trying to finish that game. Later in life, I discovered that it was impossible because some level requires pixel perfect and stuff. But back at time, it was fun because you took this joypad, the other Gaetano take the other joypad, and together you can smash enemies. And every final move, these fucking frogs used to do big punches or big horns, and I was so excited. And I'm still have, in a childish way, enjoying that a lot. So I wanted to do that as much as possible. I wanted to do that as similar as possible. I even tried to ask to our publisher the license to do a video game about Battletoads, but it's impossible right now.
Oh yeah, because they're owned by like Rare, like is it Rare, and then that's Microsoft, and so that's a lot to go through. Yeah. So that's
Impossible
that
right
is
now.
so funny that you brought it. I never even thought of it being kind of like Battletoads, but it's 100% like that, man. So
Yeah, yeah. If you think about it, the fun part was to mixing medias that comes from different. It was really easy to take other Metroidvania and make a Metroidvania different, copying. I don't know. This Metroidvania, we took ingredients from other games and from media and put it in a Metroidvania, and that created an interesting mix.
yeah, definitely. So you talk about like some of the inspirations, right? So we got Battletoads, you got your like skinhead movement from the female punks in Italy, right? What are some
Yeah.
other inspirations that you got? Because I said something that like your animation kind of reminded me of Ren and Stimpy, and it kind of does, but I don't think that's exactly correct. I mean, was Ren and Stimpy kind of something that you looked at, or what inspired you?
I never saw Ren and Stimpy, and I got that a lot. I got two things a lot, and I didn't know it before: Earthworm Jim and Ren and Stimpy. And I actually recovered those while I was developing the game, while I was having the feedback. I played my first Earthworm Jim, and I still didn't saw Ren and Stimpy, but I will because it looks amazing. I think that the interesting things is that the media that I use are totally different from those, but weirdly, in a weird way, I come out in a similar way as those because my inspiration was brutal manga from the 90s like Kakugo no Susume. I remember that I was a kid, I was in the hospital, and my mom bought me this comic book, and she had no idea what was inside, but she had no idea that she traumatized me forever with this hyper violence, man, that only Japanese are able to do. There are like interiors of people throwing out. It was full of how do you call it in English, the thingy board thing.
Like intestines?
Yeah, it was full of intestines, people ripping intestines out. And so that kind of glorification of the violence, not because you are addicted of violence, just because it's a fast and it's put it out there in a funny way, come to me when I was a little kid. And for me, it's not as violent or not gross as for many other people, and I can understand why they find it gross. I totally understand, but for me it's super fun. And other inspiration for the game are like the comic book Ranma. When I was a kid, I was reading a lot of Ranma, Dragon Ball, or lately Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim really, really. I love Scott Pilgrim, man. I love Scott Pilgrim. A Canadian product, but it's amazing. So I mix a style that it's really pop looking with those violent and mature theme in order to having this grotesque recipe that comes out. But there is a lot of media, man. We can talk for hours because there's everything. There's the Fist of North Star. When I was a kid, my mom was making me look the Fist of North Star with her, and she found it extremely romantic because it was a story of a guy trying to save her Julia. So for her, Kenshiro was a knight, you know. She didn't sew and she didn't care about brain exploding and all of the stuff. For her, it was super romantic, you know.
Oh yeah, well, that's one way to look at it. So, you know, we'll talk a little bit more about your inspirations, but I want to go back to how stupid I am for not having picked up the whole Earthworm Jim thing. I take a look at the one boss in the game. I can't remember the name. Is it Bakasura? Something like that?
Bakasura.
Bakasura. Okay. And he does this move where he chomps around. That reminds me of Peter Puppy. Is that what that inspiration was?
No, no, definitely not. No, the time I just saw here in Brighton in England because I live in England. I just saw this mask of this of this Indian demon, and I knew nothing about it. So I had an idea to have something that resembled an Indian demon, and I came with this weird design that again mix a lot of mangas like Kakugo no Susume visuals to these Indian visuals. This is what I like to do. I don't care about cultural appropriation or I don't care about messing up. This is art. I think that everything is legit because I'm having fun doing it. And I'm doing it with extreme respect just for the art, not for you, not for you, not for me, just for the art of it. Blending things together like Bakasura and putting out there. So again, inspiration coming from all of these things that you see, that you read, movies, comic book.
Yeah. Tell me about all the Easter eggs in this game, because I'll tell you, when I was playing Cookie Cutter, I loved finding all the Easter eggs. You had Penitente with like smiling, you know. I found him. I found West Borland, and I didn't expect to find West Borland in your game, dude. So I found West Borland. You have like a Chozo looking statue. That's funny. You had like pump up the volume from no effects in there. I mean, so like, what was your idea when it came to all these Easter eggs? And did your team think that was a cool idea?
Yep. And the idea was that we wanted so much the game to give you attitude and to give you um, all of the love for the things that we love, that we decided to put what we love inside of the game, little traces here and there. Everything that can push the love and the style for the attitude in general. You said couple of things in your review that I loved, by the way. It was so cool. But we will talk about this later for the music. For the Easter eggs, there is a lot, man, and a lot more to come. You need to imagine that I'm drawing an NPC that is Fat Mike, and I call it Saint Pauli. And this guy will be an ally of Cherry, maybe, but I really want this, you know. I want to have the things that I love in there, in that formula, in that receipt, in order to make you feel it, how much I love it, and how much I want to make you play with it. I even put Raz, the cherry mechanic, is actually MC Ride from Death Grips. There is a band that I fucking adore. And I will continue doing this because that's my heroes, that's the things that I like and I want them in game. West Borland. I think that West Borland is too famous, but I would love to have like a shaman that is like West Borland with his face painting. You know the face painting that he uses in Chocolate Starfish? That he got he got it's white in here and he got this wheels, this black wheels, and he's all black with black lenses. Imagine a shaman with that visual. Or for example, all the imaginary of Die Antwoord, the South African band, techno band. All of that imaginary, it will be amazing to place it in a game. And I would love to do that. And I will, maybe. I will.
Well, I hope you do, because that was one of my favorite things about Cookie Cutter was going through and just seeing all that stuff. Because, like I said in the review, like I bet you, like you and I had a very similar like tastes when it comes to consuming media. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm sitting here listening to you. You sound like a fucking nerd, and I mean that in the absolute most respectful way I can, because I am the same way. So, well, I like sitting here talking with you. You just, I just think you're so cool, man. So.
I'm a man of many passions. Let's say that.
um, let's see. So I guess when it comes to designing the combat, just let's talk a little bit about the combat in the game. In my review, I said I didn't really like it at first. It didn't jibe with me, but I also recognized that was my fault because you come in with expectations, and I think everyone needs to understand that. You come in with expectations. Any game, especially Cookie Cutter, is its own thing, right? And so you got to figure out, how do I make this thing work for me? And so that was my issue. I was like, man, I'm not really digging the combat here. But then I was like, oh, okay, so I gotta hit with weak attacks to get the void, so then I can hit with the actual damaging attacks. Because I just wanted to run in there and just do some quick punches and stuff, and that's just not how you do it, brother. So, like, did you have it? Like, how did you come up with that system? I called it void management in my review. I thought that was appropriate. But like, what was your inspiration for that?
Okay, even here the inspiration comes from different things, and I don't think it was your fault not to like it in the beginning. I think that it's 50-50 because doing the games allowed us to learn a lot of things that we didn't know when we started. Cookie Cutter is pure experimentation. We knew that we wanted a game that was easy-ish. We didn't want to do Dark Souls shit. I love Dark Souls. I got all of the Dark Souls down out there. But we wanted to go in the opposite idea, and the opposite part of the market. Let's do something chill. I remember that when they did Castlevania Symphony of the Night, they wanted to do a chill product. And I wanted kind of the same, a pop product. So let's not make a difficult combat. Let's make a combat for hyperactive kids like me. I want to smash buttons. I want to try to engage enemy and be fast and moving fast. And I want chaos. I want things that happens. I want to, hyperactive kids. This is the main. And inexperience. We were inexperienced enough to communicate you how to use it, but we were thinking, that. They will learn it. If they like the game, they will learn it. We were inexperienced enough to make a system that was challenging if you compare it with other modern games, because there were just one game designer for the entire game. Me with my silly hyperactive kid idea, throwing every day at him, and he was desperate, like, oh, I hate this guy, another silly idea. So we try to did our best while we learn in the middle that everything could be improved. For example, right now I have a clearer idea about what can make it cooler and how I can amplify the combat system better. But back at time, we just had this few ingredients to do the best as we can. And we had a huge amount of animation. We had just one programmer, so all of the behaviors that you can code on enemies were really limited, and all of the things were really limited. So, it was, to answer your question in an efficient way, I will say, we had a lot of plates in our hand and we tried to balance at our best by doing mistakes. And without even caring it, without even worrying too much about it. We had fun all of the time in doing it. We learn and we know how to improve it. But back at time it was, let's take Battletoads, let's take Odin Sphere, let's take a Metroidvania, let's blend them together and let's try to make even an experienced player playing it and having fun. And the result is good, it's bad, it's kinda good, it works, it can be improved definitely, but this is it.
Now, I'm like I said, I like the combat. It just took me a minute to get it, and that's perfectly fine. Like I said, sometimes you just got to put your expectations aside, go in there, suck. Go in there and suck at the game for a little bit until you figure it out. That's how I am, and I like to approach that as well. I'm always like, okay, I suck at this game. What do I not understand? And I had that epiphany with Cookie Cutter because I was just dumb and I just kept hitting with the light attacks. And no, I gotta use the void, and that's always my problem. I hate to use magic or any sort of like secondary bar, and that's on me. And so I had to embrace that void management, and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty solid. I like this a lot. So
Yeah, the idea was to have just HP and mana and to use this element to do special attacks. Okay, maybe we can do the normal attacks with recharge you mana, and special attack will use the mana. Let's do a really simple system, but let's try to make the most out of it. What I regret a lot, but I will place it in the future, is that we weren't able to have multipliers and dividers. So this weapon gives you more damage to this enemy. So if you use this weapon against this guy, you will kill him in 2 hits. Otherwise, you will do 25. This kind of mechanic of multiplication and division that comes from action RPG like Final Fantasy. Well, there's a lot of them, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I love that, and that's what I want out of the game. We weren't able back at time. We will in the future, you know? Who knows?
And that was something I kind of touched on a little bit in the review. Is Cookie Cutter is very combat focused, and like the evolution for the light attacks. There's not so much outside of adding different components to get like the double uppercuts and stuff like that. But then you did a non-traditional thing where it was like, here's the heavy weapons. And so I'm going to use crafting materials to increase their level, and then I'll get new moves. So it was different. It was interesting. And yeah, you were talking about like attributes to weapons. Like if I have this, let's say the guitar is electric, so lightning damage, maybe that does more to water damage. So it sounds like what you were saying. If you were able to make a more robust system like that, I think that would be awesome. I love stuff like that. I just played Super Roboy. I don't know if you played that yet. I'm trying to make a video on that. Super Roboy is fantastic. It's like Contra, basically. Like it's like Contra in its controls, not in its like presentation. But that's a really good game, and it does something like that too, where it has those like dividers and multipliers, those kind of like elemental things. So
I think it will do. I think it will do, man. And again, after that, we finished the entire project of making the game. We grew so much in understanding what can make a game's fun. Because as an indie, as indie developers, you got ideas. Oh, we got the ideas. Yeah, but to realize the ideas, it's a fucking mess. We got one, again, programmer and one game designer. So even if we got the ideas, we didn't have the time to realize it. And we had to come out with the best things that we could afford, not that we can do. So it's a weird rule, it's a weird game of balancing elements, and it's a really run against time. And with the resources that you have, it's a beautiful mess, man. It's a beautiful mess. It was so much fun and so much pain to do the game, man. It was the most challenging things that we ever done in our life, the entire team. But for me, it was lethal. For me, it was too much.
yeah, and you see that a lot with indie studios. There's a lot of ambition, but the time and resources can't reach that. And I guess that brings me to my next question: is like, uh, is there any like kind of cut content that you can share? It sounds like you got the that kind of attribution multiplier divider thing. Maybe that might be coming. So I don't know, but what are some things that maybe you had to cut that you can share?
I will tell this just to you because you're the best interviewer I ever had until today, and I will tell you fucking everything. So, what gets removed, and we already got it there working, is the combo counter system. The more you do in combo, the more a multiplier raises. It will reach milestone 0.5, 1.5 per 2 damage. And the more you will reach the milestone, the more void it gets sucked into cherry. Like, you know? So I would encourage the player to be fast and to be hyperactive by rewarding them by making more damage and having void back, so you can use more moves and it can be more frantic. We already got 2 more weapons that I had to remove. We had 2 areas of the game that was removed during development with the coolest boss fight ever. One is Urakunda, and I'm animating her lately. Is a girl. It's like yeah, with 6 arms, and that's a mess one. That to animate some of the character of Cookie Cutter is like cure for cancer, man. You need to it's incredible. The level of stupid details that stupidly we put in the game. If I could go back, I will just make shade. I will make the character flat colors and not with shades, tattoo, highlights, and stupid stuff. So yeah, cut content. There's one enemy each area that was the need to be cut it out because there were no time to develop them. And lot of ideas, abilities, story parts. The story of Cookie Cutter is just 1/3 of what we have for Cookie Cutter. Yeah, so man, there is a lot of content that I want to put it out. Maybe I'm already working on put it out there.
Man, I love to hear that because I talked about it in my review, so it's not too much spoilers. But your game, I'm not going to go into specifics, but it ends on a cliffhanger, and I was so pissed. I'm like, what? Because I was actually like, again in my review, I talk about how I get the Bastardville, and I got like a nice little shot of dopamine. It's like, oh man, we got all these people, we got this rebel group, and we're going to take down the Golden Tower. I'm like, this is awesome. And then we get this cliffhanger, and it's a cool cliffhanger. Like I like where it's going, if that makes sense. But I was like, damn. So I'm hoping we can get some resolution there.
I think it's a cool cliffhanger, but it was not stage good because of time and resources. My idea that made everyone pissed off, and I'm really happy about it because I'm happy when people get pissed off. It was to do something like a comic book. First chapter, second chapter, third chapter. What you foresight and what we give you at the end of Cookie Cutter, we take our time because we had to learn things, because we had to build the system of dialogue, the system of growth, the system of fighting. So that's the first chapter. If we can do the second one, all of the things are already built. We just can improve and make more of the things out of the system. You said in the review, and you're totally right, that the world is huge, but sometimes it's empty. And that is true. The idea was to have long way more NPC, lot of them more, quests and everything. It was impossible, but the world is still there, and the mega structure is changing. So maybe retracing the same areas and more, but the same areas with lot more to do can be really cool and interesting. And if I can make this like a TV series or a comic book, you will periodically have a new piece and you can play and discover more. The story goes forward, the gameplay goes forward, the game mechanic goes forward. This could be really, really cool to have, but this we should have it just if the people love enough the game. And actually, there is enough love out there to do this, you know?
Yeah, and you got my support. I said it in mind. If you DLC or a sequel comes out, day one purchase for me. Because like I said, Cookie Cutter did not click with me, but I stuck with it. And by the end, I was good. I was like, yeah, this is a really interesting and good game. I'd love to see where it goes next. So I'd love to hear that, man.
It's a weird taste, man. It's not a game. It's a really divisive game. And that's fun. That's fine, you know. We are nowadays every day 10 new amazing indie games comes out. So I think that the coolest things that we can do is to be sincere to our vision and to bring you something that is a new flavor or something that allow us to experiment. Otherwise, we will be Ubisoft all of the time, everyone.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because there's it's kind of going around now. I saw it on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and I saw it on Facebook. But Sakurai, the creator of a lot of things, but Smash Brothers, he recently said that Japanese developers need to stop trying to pander essentially to the West, like make your own game. And it's like I thought that was probably the best thing to say. I was like, I agree with this. I think this is awesome. You know what I mean? So make what you know, right? I'm an English professor, and I always tell my students, write what you know. Don't write things that you don't, because it's not going to be genuine, right? So write what you know, and the audience will come as long as you're genuine and you're making something nice, something good at least, right?
I totally agree with you. I can't be a dancer. Maybe I can be in 5 years if I train enough, but it's useless if right now to impress you I will start dancing because I'm not able to. I will suck at the beginning. I will dance and I will suck and you will make fun of me. And later I will become maybe a great dancer. But the best things that I could do for you when I give you my art is to give you my heart, is to give you what I really know, what I really love, even if it's weird, even if I gave it to you and it smells a little bit and it's rough around the edges and it's a little burned, but that is something sincere and it's fun. I don't do it because I don't know. I do it because it's fun to do it, to chase your own vision and to put it out there and the best of your effort. Just that. I don't care about I don't want to please you. I don't want to please anyone for sure. I want to please people, but not all of the people. I don't care about that. I want to be sincere with myself and do the best that I can. Just that.
Yep. If you try to please everyone, you'll please no one. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
it's kind of how I am too. I'm the Metroidvania guru, which just a little fact because I was on like Reddit and Metro. It was like Metroidvania subreddit, and I guess a lot of people were upset with my name, Metroidvania Guru. But I literally just chose that name because I thought it was funny. Because when you hear the word guru, you think of like a bull. So it was a joke. So it's like I'm not trying to be like an authority. I'm just out here doing my thing. I got a passion for it, and I do it. And I don't do it like for money. I don't charge any. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I like to help developers, and I always tell they were like, oh well, how much is it? And I'm like, nothing. Just let me play your game, and we'll get it out there. You know what I mean? So that
And it's totally sound like this. It's total when you do things, your video, I saw your video review 3 times. It's really sound like you're sincere. It really sounds you did your research, you put it out there with your own voice, and you did it in a way that it's really sincere. And it came to me. This is why the reason why we're here today, because we linked. It comes to me. It's not like you're doing it because you're doing it because you had fun, because you love it, and that's you can feel it, you can hear it, you can see it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, because I tell people I have way more passion than I do talent. So, and sometimes that's good enough. So, anyway, earlier you said I was your favorite interviewer. I'm about to be the worst because I have to ask you the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how woke are you?
I will say 13. I'm super woke. Okay. Okay, this is I don't know, man. I don't know, man. When I start doing this, I don't know. I learned this word and all of the world behind it when I start developing this game and I start having this comment. First time is like, oh, this is woke. And I had to search on Google because I'm Italian and I'm stupid. I had to search on Google woke, clack, and it was a cool thing. It was like being conscient about your privileges of all other people. It was a cool word. It was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, I'm woke. But later, I understood that this was like an offense. It was like a way to tell me something bad, like, oh, that's woke. But at the same time, I had comment like, oh, this is misogynist. It's a team of rude males, Italian male, mafia, Italian male making this game with this poor girl and they always show the underwear. They are pervert. And the other side, they are woke because they try to impose new feminine beauty. Guys, I don't care. I don't give a shit about this stuff. Calm your down. I don't care. I come from easier times when I was a punk rocker and I was an anarchist, and so I do whatever the I like, and I don't want to offend anyone. I make my protagonist gay just because it was a flavor. I need to choose my game and I need to come out with a character. I will do a male, I will do a female. No, that. Let's do a story about a gay character, but let's not make the story about their gayness. Let's make a story about interest character. Let's make a story that starts from the crow of James O'Barr when you lost your love in a really horrible way and you need to go back to your love. Let's do a story like Super Mario when you need to save the princess. But let's not make a story just out of this. Let's tell a story of a mega structure, a floating planet 10,000 million years in the future. Let's put blame, the manga blame in it. It's not always about politics, guy. I don't give a about politics. I don't give a shit about. I am like a little kid making you a drawing, giving it to you, and I want you to put it on the fridge. I don't care. I don't take position. we don't have the flags for LGBTQ plus community, and we don't have the flags of the pervs. We have no flags at all, guys. Calm your tits down. It's fun and it's fine that you express your opinion, but just consider a little bit that maybe it's not like you think. You know, you're not sure that people out there are woke, misogynist. You're not sure about anything. Express your opinion with fucking peace and calm. You know?
No, I feel you. It's funny. Yeah, because people are calling you woke. Because I did a little bit of research on this. It's like people are calling you woke. People are calling you misogynist. Those things typically don't mix. I don't think. I don't know. Because I'm like you. I'm more of an agent of chaos. I don't. I'm not very political. I don't really care. I just want to make people happy. I don't want to take a side to piss people off. This is not me. But yeah, like I just yeah, I just thought it was just I thought it was crazy. I did. They were calling me woke because I did a video for black characters in Metroidvanias. And that was it because it was Black History Month. That's just something we've celebrated in America for I don't know, man, ever since I was a kid. And so I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh man, here's some black characters. I even one of them up. One of them is probably Indian. I don't think there's like an actual like ethnicity to it, but I did some research and a lot of people said she was black, but apparently she was Indian. So you know, I messed up. It happens. But all the other like 4 or 5 characters, black characters, did a little highlight on them, and I was called woke, DEI, and like I was like, I'm not getting any money from anybody for this, man. I just wanted to celebrate Black History Month, so I get it. Like people look at that stuff and they want to be like, oh no, that's political. I don't want to get in this political arena. It's like, you know what? Me neither, man. So I mean, I'll still talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. Just everyone, just like you said, calm down, man. We're just doing our thing. I'm not picking a side. I just want to be me, man.
Yeah, it's not always a war between teams, guys. It's not always like that. There is beautiful in-betweens about everything. And woke, it's not a bad word. You turn it into an horrible word. And I don't give a about nothing, man. I just want to do my stuff and I don't want people to. They leave me reviews on Steam about this game is woke. This is not a review. This is stupid. It's not a review. And I'm so stupid. I'm more stupid than them because I bite back. I chase them. I find their profile and I go there when I'm pissed off, try to have a fight, because in real life they trigger the bully out of me and I'm so sorry, but sometimes, that's it. We need to surrender to the fact that this is the time that we are living right now. And it's so a little bit sad, but for them, because living a life just using this filter, it's sad, Really sad.
I'm totally with you. So, given that response from um, players and critics alike, I suppose, how has that influenced your thoughts moving forward?
Moving forward, as I said before, I like to triggering people. I like to provoke, but not because, yes, I'm an agent of chaos, as you said, but I think that how do you say it when you provoke? How do you say it in English?
So you're a provocateur.
Yes, that is an art because it's a way of communicating things. I learned it by playing in a punk rock band. I was using lyrics that were tough to pinch people. I like that way of communicating. It's a flavor, and for the same times, for the same reason, one of the things that I'm doing is that I'm adding inside of the game a character that represents the players. It's a character that will break a little bit the fourth wall and he'll criticize things, and he will have Cherry answer him back. So I'm having a lot of fun in this. I will change nothing about my behavior or the way that I used to create or the way our studio used to create stuff. But plus, I will use this situation to tell my point of view via the game, via the main character, via Cherry, So I will not change nothing. This will not change my vision, but allow me to play with the silliness more in a smart way, I hope. Because it's not a silly joke. Nothing. I will not spend all of this time. I spent 6 years making this game, and I finished the game with a huge burnout and 9 months out of meds of how stressed I was. So this is not a joke. It's all my heart, and I want to communicate these new things in the game if I can.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I always like going through your socials and seeing the shit talking you do and all the like even at the beginning of my review, I even poked fun of it because you had that one picture. I was like, I saw that picture. I was like, wow. I showed it to my wife. I was like, what do you think of this? She was like, bleh. And so I was like, yeah, I think that's the direction he's going for. So, so what do you think of that picture? Like, what was your mind? What was going on in your mind when you made that?
It was back at time when this stupid people, sorry, these people saw the images of Siri from The Witcher 4, and they even saw another game, and the protagonist was not good looking, not a sex doll, you know?
It's probably like,
I like.
what is that game? Oh,
I don't remember. It was a couple of weeks ago. It's famous, yeah. They announce it and people get super mad about it. It was the same time. Which one was again?
the new Fable.
The new Fable, maybe, yeah. But by the way, it's a time period when these things get criticized a lot. I find nothing weird in that. I find nothing. I like, and it's not a discussion about sexualizing or stuff. It's about again flavor. I played Nier Automata when your main character is a waifu and she got pantsu and all of that shit, and I loved it. It's a great game. I love Metal Gear Solid 4 when you got this old ass man in front of your face all of the time. You got Solid Snake walking like this, all of the time. But at the same time, I love to play with what was the game about the girl going back in time and you were a teenager and
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. I loved it. And the main character is not like a sex doll, there it's story, guys. It's the world of entertaining. There are different things. When I did Cookie Cutter, I can draw really sexy girl. When I drew Cookie Cutter, I wanted a broken doll. I wanted a girl that not gives you a bomb. I wanted a Wario, it's me, Wario. I wanted a female version of Wario. And I think that if I placed a male, I think that the same people telling you that you're woke are the same people who were bullying you back in the 90s because you're gay or stuff like that. Because if I pulled a Wario character instead of Cherry, I think that more people will love the game. But because I placed a girl and the girl is not attractive enough for them because I don't know, they want to have a bond when they're playing, I think this will like, nah, this is woke. I think this is the reason.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a provocative picture. I was like, oh, wow. So, but
Yeah, and in that picture I said something like, not everyone are trying to give you a ball. Everyone are trying to, giving you sex. Maybe we're trying another recipe. Try to have different filters when you evaluate different media. Just that. But in a weird and gross way, I was upset and I had a lot of fun doing that.
oh, that's awesome. So, okay. I want to kind of wrap this up, but I want to throw it to you because you got a big thing coming up down the line, March 27th. So I'll let you tell everyone about that real quick, if you don't mind.
Okay, 27th of March, Cookie Cutter will be available as Overkill edition. That is an improved edition with all voice acting in the entire game, great voice casting. There will be new combat abilities, new Easter eggs, a lot of fixes, a lot of quality of life improvement. There is a little bit, there is cutscene before every boss fight and cutscene that we had to remove from the game that gives you more context about the lore. more. It's a more refined and with more cool things version of the game. But really, just because of the voice acting, it's really worth, because now it's look and sounds like a cartoon. You can hear those characters talking, and it's a really different experience. I was surprised when I heard the voice actors in game. So yeah, 27th of March it will come to Switch, and later we will be free updated in all of the consoles. And we were even coming out with a special edition of a physical copy, and I will tell soon in the social media about it. But yeah, yeah.
So I just want to reiterate, a physical copy's coming out.
For Switch,
Yes, I have a collection. It is Switch sealed Switch Metroidvanias. It's a very very eclectic collection, but yeah, I'm getting Cookie Cutter day one then on that one. So that'll be great. So I'm glad to hear that. So breaking news, everybody. So, all right. I guess I'll end this with one more thing. Was there a question that you wanted me to ask that I did not?
no, we talk about everything, and I'm really happy because again, you are smart enough to talk about things and not just judge them. So I'm really happy about what we discussed because you give me the chances to express my stupid thoughts and to have a voice out there, while I just can hear people voices about me and I can say mine, you know? So thank you so much for giving me this chance to talk with you today, and for the review that it's great and I loved it. And I hope that soon you will review more stuff about us.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Overkill edition. I don't. Is it out on PC yet? I feel like it is.
Yes. We shouldn't, but we already released it in secrecy for PC. So for PC. So if you have the PC version of the game, it's like 4 days now that it's already updated to Overkill. Overkill!
That's awesome. So, but yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to replay the game with the Overkill edition so I can see all those cutscenes, hear all the voices, feel the improvements. And then I have a little series. It's called Metroidvania Revisited. So I'll do that, and then I'll talk about your game again. So hopefully people can take a look at that and be like, "Hey, look at all the improvements on this." So, but there we go. So yeah, man, Stefano, you were awesome. I love talking with you, man. I especially love how patient you were and how you helped me out with the audio issues that we were dealing with, man. So this is a series that that I would like to continue and do with other developers. So maybe we'll see. Maybe I can actually have some audio set up before we get going. So
Okay, my man. If you get problem recording, call me and I will do the sound check with you, even if you interview other people. I will be here for you.
sweet. Well, thank you so much, Stefano. Um, I guess that's it. No more questions. Appreciate your time, and I wish the best for Cookie Cutter. I can't wait for the physical to get announced officially, and I can buy that and put that in my collection. But yeah, if you guys haven't already, like, subscribe. Hopefully, we'll do some more of these in the future. And I throw it to Stefano to say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. See ya.
Later, nerds.